What's up YouTube, Day from Zephyr Wargames, bringing you a Gren Manju deck profile. Now yes, Gren Manju is back. It is incredibly powerful. It has been getting a lot more popularity since it was run in an American tournament. And by all means, it's an incredibly fun deck to play and very, very powerful and can catch people off guard. On top of that, as I zoom out, you will see we have a World Championship 2017 sealed mat. Now that is, of course, we've provided you throughout this week with giveaways as a special celebration for our 2 years anniversary, and we've been giving you decks, we've been giving you sleeves, we've been giving you dice, we've been giving you stuff to get ready for a proper duel. So one thing that's missing now is a mat. So I thought, why not? Stay tuned to the end to find out how you, that's yes you, every single one of you watching right now, can win this beautiful mat. Sealed, not even been opened. You can see the stickers all still flatlined. Nothing has been touched. It is a beautiful mat, and it will be going to one of you lucky guys. Anyway, without further ado, we'll also get onto the Gren Manju deck profile. Now, this deck, like I said, is incredibly fun, incredibly powerful. And Gren Manju, for those of you who don't know, gains 400 attack for all of your banished cards. Now, it is your, but that's why Pot of Desires is so powerful. When you banish a Pot of Desires, you've got a 4k normal summon beta on board. You do 2 Pot of Desires. You've got an 8k beta on board that it can be normal summoned. So straight away you play triple standard of Gren Manju Deizer. Very, very straightforward on that. You also play Eater of Millions at 3 because Eater of Millions will also bump up your Gren Manju, and through Pot of Desires will also gain itself some attack. Yes, it doesn't gain 400 per banished card face down, but it does gain 100 per banished face down card on the field. So it includes your opponent. So if your opponent activates Pot of Desires, even with the Soul Absorption in your extra deck, which when we get to I'll show you, if your opponent wants to activate a Pot of Desires, it's no longer a neg 9 for them. It will then be a neg 9 plus a K for your Eater of Millions plus 5k life points. You know, people are not playing Pot of Desires when you're playing this deck, I can tell you that for nothing. Double Necrophase, you banish this bad boy, you banish the rest of the, you can banish 5 more cards as well. That can also hurt your opponent if you banish their one-of, so that can be very, very painful. And then on top of that, should your first choice of Gren Manju be destroyed or you mill them all or anything like that, Necrophase then gets to reset the board state, including your opponent's banished stuff, and then can turn into a big beater itself, again as a normal summon monster. Now, because we want to play a stall deck version of this, when we want to get to our Gren Manju, these are our main cards we want to get into, is these first 6 here. We do play triple Battle Fader, and we also play triple Swift Scarecrow. Again, these are all to delay until you get into your Gren Manjus. And we also play 2 Glad Beast Noxious. Now, this was something I saw in another video, which I thought was an interesting tech. I am considering trying to play a more trap or back row heavy variant. So instead of playing all the hand traps, you play more like Drowning Miracles and stuff like that. But regardless, if I wanted to keep this build, this is one that I'm considering taking out. So not many people know what this one does. It acts like a battle trap as well, where you basically special summon it from your hand in defense position when your opponent declares direct attack. But it can't be destroyed by that battle. Now, obviously, if it couldn't be destroyed by battle in general, it would be busted as hell. But because it's only that battle, it's only a 1 monster stall. So ideally, you want to be dropping this first before you hit your Scarecrows and your Battle Faders. The other plus side of Glad Beast as well is because it's a dark attribute, you can use it for your Allures. Because the main cards you want to banish off your Allures are your Necrophases and your Glad Beast. You don't really want to banish your Battle Faders or your Eater of Millions because they're kind of there to help protect you. Finishing off, we've got triple Ash Blossom. Again, we do play lots of, because the extra deck isn't as important with this deck, you can play a lot of Reaper targets. So again, Reaper can provide yourself with also Allure targets, but Ash is just too powerful. I also play 2 Ghost Ogre as well, because hand traps are just incredibly powerful in this deck. The one hand trap I haven't got in this deck is Maxi. Now, Maxi is definitely good and definitely useful putting in. There's no real reason as to why I definitely haven't got it in here, but one of the reasons that kind of steered me away from Maxi is the pure fact that what you've got to rely on is if someone goes and takes a Maxi challenge, there's not really a lot that you can plus off that could actually hurt you a lot more if they take the Maxi challenge than if they just stop. So the Maxi is better at stopping your opponent than it is for them taking the challenge, because if they take the challenge, not only do you have less cards in your deck left to banish with Pot of Desires, it also means that you won't be able to. You want most of your cards in your hand and that to be banished. Yes, it'll get you to a Gren Manju, but if you haven't got the banished cards for your Gren Manju, it's not going to be that powerful. Then I play the one-ofs of the one Snow and the one Electro Turtle. Turtle is like another battle fader. It's a nice little 1800 booty that if your opponent can't get past, or when they eventually do get past, you get to banish it and it ends the battle phase. That's very, very important, but it's only once per duel, which is why there's only one copy of it. You can play Foolish Burial to get your Snow and Turtle to the graveyard, but I've chosen to take that out. Snow is a nice little card that can be an out of to stuff like Crystal Wing. Like you can normal summon the Snow, use its effect to try and book immune the Crystal Wing if it's immune by destruction. And then, of course, your opponent will then be forced to negate it. And Snow can also be outs to other stuff as well. We do play a Kaiju engine of 2 Kumungus and 1 Gameciel. Now, I am tempted to take the Kumungus out, or I have been tempted in the past to take the Kumungus out for the Ride-ins, because the Ride-ins are dark targets for allures. And there are a couple of times when I've opened up an allure and Kumungus and be like, oh, if you're a Ride-in, I'd get rid of you. The biggest issue is, though, because Ride-in is so much more stronger, even though it's 400 life points, the way the Kaijus are so pivotal in this deck is even if you're not reducing the attack of your opponent's monster, if your opponent monster like destroys stuff or does stuff or can be very, very destructive to your deck, you drop the Kaiju on them, then you normal summon your Manju, and your Manju 9 times out of 10 will swing in for game over the Kaijus, and that's just one way of getting past problematic boards. So that's it for the monster lineup. Moving on to the spell lineup, we play 3 Pot of Desires. Again, the only deck that I'll ever play Pot of Desires at 3 in, because it's never a bad thing for this deck. Yes, if you banish all your Gren Manjus, that can really, really hurt, but you do have the ability to normal summon the Necro Face and bring it back, or reset your decks to be playing the Pot of Desires again. Next, I play Triple Twin Twisters, because if you can take out your opponent's warnings, strikes are only very helpful against your Eater of Millions, but your Eater of Millions is like banished already. You're already banishing the cards. So the only real reason that they're going to get rid of your Eater of Millions is so you don't banish one of their cards. The warning and just kind of like other destruction cards is your biggest threat towards your Gren Manju, but if you can protect him or stop him being destroyed, you've pretty much got game. Double Allure, easily play this at 3 if you put the Ghost Ogres in. The reason I'm only playing it 2 is because the only targets I want to banish off of this is Necroface to get the effects going. Other than that, I don't really want to banish my Eater of Millions or my Battle Faders, so the Noxious is the only other option. Whereas if you play the Reapers, Reapers can be very, very powerful in this deck, and that's when I would advise bumping the lore up to 3. Double Gold Sark. Now, you can play Triple Gold Sark if you play DDR. So DDR is you discard one and then you get to return a banished card or a banished monster from your banished zone to your hand. Now, obviously, it has to be face up, so you can't bring back one of your Pot of Desire targets. But it's just a quick way of comboing off with your Gold Sark. So you do your Gold Sark, you get to bring it then straight back and play off from there. Gold Sark, again, 9 times out of 10, you're sending your Necro Face to kind of dealing with that. But, of course, Gold Sark can help you out a little bit old-fashioned style by getting the cards you may need. Next up is Double Pot of Duality. Again, you can play 3 if you want. You very rarely do special summon, but the times I've opened up with Pot of Duality, I've always had a hand where I'm like, I can game if I don't use this and go for a special summon of Eater of Millions. Easy to play at 3 though, it's entirely up to you. The one Raigeki and then the one Day of Peace, because One Day of Peace is never really that bad, because it lets you live for another turn. So if you haven't had the ability to build up your board, the One Day of Peace, yes, it gives your opponent or an extra draw, but unless that extra draw is a way of stopping your Battle Faders or anything like that, or even getting rid of your Gren Manju and you haven't been able to Twin Twister it, it's not that big of a deal. So it's actually very, very helpful in this deck. You could play Upstart. The biggest issue with Upstart is sometimes Gren Manju can OTK with an 8. A lot easier than it can OTK with the 9. Purely because when you drop one of the Kaijus on opponents, all you have to do is get up to 10k and then you can beat him through game. So you've got to be quite careful with what you kind of play around with. Like I did say at the start, I am looking at doing like a trap variant. You can play Card of Demise if you wanted to. If you're going to play Card of Demise, I would highly advise not playing any, well, you wouldn't play any of the hand traps, you'd probably play more back row hate. The back row hate can be very, very powerful and very, very useful, especially if you set your Gren Manju, because if you set your Gren Manju and your player doesn't know what you're playing, they can attack into the Gren Manju, you flip it, and then it gets the attack of all your banished stuff. So they could be attacking into a 4k, if not an 8k defender, which could be very, very powerful. So a trap variant is definitely an option if you want to give that a go. Now, the extra deck isn't so important, but you would probably flood it with more Reaper targets if you know what you're going to be playing with, or at least playing up against. So it's really just dependent on what you want to go with. So I've got the one Decode Talker, the 2 Akessic Magicians, the 1 Firewall, the 1 Omega, 1 Vortex. So this is all built from my previous locals of what I felt I was going to face and what I actually had on me at the time. So none of this is set in stone. You change it as and wish you please. Obviously, with spirals at the moment, you'd put in a double helix. I'll definitely keep a Borreload in there because Borreload can be a very incredible play. If you think you're coming up against Paleos, obviously put your Toad in. Obviously, that's why Mr. Boy's in there as well. Mrs. Radiance for all the Earth plays. You can put Invoked Metbas if you think you're going to be coming up and get invoked. Put Purgatrio in there as well. So really, your extra deck is just going to be flooded with kind of outs to your opponent. Extra deck is really down to personal preference. Now onto the extra deck that I ran this weekend. Very, very important. It can be used multiple times with the deck. Is triple Reaper with Winter Cherries. Again, like I said, the extra deck is there to be used and abused. And of course, you play the Allure of Darknesses. Triple Soul Absorption, because this card is busted as hell. If it kind of like, it doesn't activate per se. It's more like a passive effect. So it's harder to deal with. And then it kind of deters your opponent from banishing stuff before getting rid of this, makes them extend out of their way to get rid of this. And if you open up a Soul Absorption, then activate Pot of Desires, you're banishing 10 for cost anyway, so even if they do ash you, you've just gained 5,000 life points. Not to mention if you open up 2, if not all 3 of these with a Pot of Desires, my gosh, you're gaining 15,000 life points. Your Pot of Desires is only plussing your Gren Manju, then you set your Gren Manju. So sometimes even if you can't beat your opponent out of the game, you can just outdo them on life points and they go, yeah, I'm never getting past like 23,000 life points, I might as well just call it there and go to the next game. So it's definitely a very powerful card in this deck. Triple Prohibition, again, this is just like a nice little techie touch. You can obviously play evenly matched in this deck. The best thing that works with evenly matched is your opponent banishes face down. So again, that will combo off, give you pluses off the Soul Absorption, give you pluses off the Eater of Millions as well because they are face down. So it does give you more pluses when you come to think about it. So that's definitely something that I'll be putting into this extra deck. I just didn't have it for me when I played this deck at the weekend, so this is kind of like my version of the weekend's one, because it did do really well. It got 3rd place, which is very, very cool. Triple Solemn Strikes can easily be like a warning, and because we don't play a lot of set cards, can also be a scolding as well. They'll probably be more dominant in the trap version. And then finish off with the 2 D-Barrier and the 1 D-Fissure. Now, D-Fissure is incredibly powerful, and so will Macrocosmo if you want to play Macrocosmo in this deck as well. So Macrocosmo and D-Fissure can be very, very powerful because it can disrupt your opponent massively and then they need to deal with this before they can make you like their graveyard loot plays. Especially with like their spiral plays if they want to play tough or if they want to play Spiral Super Agent as well. So the best thing about D-Fissure, if you do put D-Fissure in, I'd probably then suggest taking out your Snow, because your Snow might become an issue in that case. And also the only hand trap that's an issue on the D-Fissure is Ghost Ogre, because the rest of your hand traps, like your Battle Fader, Special Summons itself, your Scarecrow just needs to be discarded, Ash just needs to be discarded. Let me just double check Reaper. And Reaper just needs to be discarded, so it doesn't actually have to go to grave to resolve, whereas Ghost Ogre does. So Ghost Ogre you would probably then take out as well if you wanted to play with the D-Fissure, but Ghost Ogre can still be incredibly powerful even without D-Fissure live. So it kind of gives you a lot of loops there. It then, of course, increases your power of your Gren Manju when you do get it out, or it can increase your Necroface if you do end up having Necroface to shuffle everything back in. So it does give you a lot of options to play with and can be very, very powerful. But it is a quite versatile deck, and you kind of play it the way you want to and kind of give it a go the way you want to as well. You know, as long as you're playing free Gren Manju, you're pretty much on the right track for this deck. And like I said, it's an incredibly fun deck to play, very versatile, and kind of work for you as a player, depending on whatever playstyle you want to go with. So, that is it. Very, very fun deck, very, very powerful deck, like I said, and I thoroughly enjoyed playing it this weekend. Let's get on to the part that you're all here, and that is, of course, our last giveaway for now, and that is the sealed World Championship 2017 mat. Now, I know these are incredibly hard to get hold of. You only got hold of them if you went to one of the promotional events that was held back when Worlds went on, or if you went to Worlds yourself. As you can see, it's got one of the Celestials up here. It's got a beautiful picture of the Earth in the background up here, and then obviously the stars of the galaxy, and of course the official Yu-Gi-Oh logo and the World Championship 2017 logo in the bottom corner. Again, very, very simple. The exact same with all of our giveaways that we've been doing this week. All you have to do is follow the link below. The link below. Easy as that. Click on that link. All you have to do, To go through into the survey, you subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed, it will either ask you to unsubscribe and resubscribe, which I think is a bit redundant, but it's the first time I've used Gleam. It will then, of course, let you open up more options to enter. For each task you complete, gives you an entrance into the raffle or the draw for your chance to winning. In total, if you complete all of the steps, you get 6 to 7 entrants. The other tasks that you need to complete are like our Facebook page. The link will be there for you to go to. Like this specific video, again, the link will be there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and then share the competition around. If you share the competition around, you get free entrants. So you want to be doing that on each and every one of these giveaways we've done throughout this entire week, the ones that you want to be winning. And then, of course, you beat them. You boost up your chances. Don't think that if you've entered this one, it's even though the requirements are the same, that it carries on for the rest. Each one has their different kind of entry limits. So you want to be going for each and every one that you want. Especially this mat, because this mat is incredibly nice. And like I said, it's very, very hard to get hold of. So you'll be kind of like the envious of one of your events if you're playing this, or if you just want to keep it for your collection. It's a very, very nice mat, very, very cool mat, and it kind of, you know, it's us saying thank you to all of you guys for supporting us for these 2 years, and hopefully supporting us for longer, because there will be more giveaways. Do not worry about that at all. We don't stop until you guys stop. So we love it, we enjoy it, we'll keep doing it. And I hope this has kind of helped you out with a Gren Manju deck as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out the giveaway in the link below. Don't be foolish. This is for this mat here. And until next time, guys, as always, best of luck and happy dueling. What's up, YouTube? Thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings, and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round. So don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always, guys, happy dueling.